In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the one and only infamous Andrew Cobra Tate and his program Hustlers University. Aside from all the controversy around the guy, we're going to be talking about specifically what is in the program and what benefits you get out of it, if it's worth it, and specifically talking about the e-commerce and dropshipping section, since that's really where my expertise is. However, I am going to be giving you some insight into the entire program, just so you know what you're getting if you do decide to purchase it. Now, I'm not an affiliate, but I want to give an honest review because I have seen the guy, I've seen his program, it's been out for so long. He brags about having hundreds of thousands of members. So let's see if it's really worth it, if you can get any actual value out of it. So first things first, it costs $50 a month. Now for anybody living in the United States, $50 a month is equivalent to like 2 orders from McDonald's. If you live outside of the US, this is probably gonna be one of the most affordable programs that you ever get. So let's see what you actually get and what type of coaches you get and what the program actually entails for $50 charge. So for starters, you have copywriting, you have freelancing, you have a stock chat, you have cryptocurrency investing, you have crypto trading chat, and this is relatively new. I noticed that you have a content creation campus. Now you of course also have the e-commerce programs, which as you can see, I'm already enrolled in. You also have the real world, which I'm assuming is just the chat to connect all the people and all the programs. You also have a business mastery, which I'm assuming he put everybody in simply because it involves all the programs. And you also have fitness, which is also relatively new, which I do appreciate because sometimes this goes overlooked. As an entrepreneur myself for 4 years, business, mindset, health, and wealth are all directly correlated. A healthy mind and a healthy body are linked, right? You can't almost always have or build upon one without the other one. However, if you're at the bottom, right, if you're at the lowest level of the pyramid, the way to get to the top is by perfecting all the areas of your life that teach you discipline. So I like to correlate fitness and business all the time because the same discipline it takes to get jacked or to achieve your fitness goals at the very least, it also is required in business. So I can appreciate him trying to put everybody in a fitness chat, which I know is relatively new, only a couple months old. But what we're gonna dive into really is the e-commerce chat because that is our specialty. Me having done over $12 million in sales, I am also in the advanced chat. You can only get in this chat if you flex that you have done some certain number in sales, maybe it's 6 figures, and they put you in this advanced e-commerce chat. As you guys can see, 6K on the month. Again, this is just one of my brand new stores. This is one of my brand new brands that I do sometimes talk about. And these are all from the ideas that I can possibly attribute not to Hustlers University, but things that I have learned on my own that I do think they talk about at the very least in this Hustlers University mentorship. So I'm not going to give all the credit to the Hustlers University because I obviously have done over $12 million in sales before joining this program. However, some of the tips or some of the tricks that I used to start doing these numbers month over month consistently are applicable or are mentioned at the very least in this program. They have an ecom live where you could come in and ask the coach questions, which I think is imperative, right? It's not one-on-one, but at least you get to ask questions tailored to your business, your mindset, or things that you are getting stuck on, right? Your roadblocks. So you get to put in live questions and then the mentor or the coach answers those questions in a live call. Now, people share their wins, of course, for people to brag, but it does leave room for inspiration to a beginner. They give you daily product ideas, which as you can see here, they have professor diaries, which is just, things that the professor talks about. They have student lessons, which is lessons that the students go over. They have daily accountability, which allows people to just to post and be accountable for themselves, kind of like a journaling thing, which I'm a very huge fan of journaling. Now there's a general chat where all the members can interact one-on-one or in general just talk about in a group style setting. They have a branding chat, which they talk about, branding certain products. When you find a certain winner, let's talk about how we're going to brand it, how we're going to brand our website, which I think is very, very important. I've been talking about this more and more and more lately, how you need, and myself included, need to get out of dropshipping completely and start branding products because that is the asset that is sellable. That is when you can take your website and your product, bring it to a marketplace. Once you're fulfilled enough, when you're done making money and you feel like you're done trying to make sales dropshipping, you can brand it, sell it, and then hopefully make a 5 to 10x return on all the hard work you've done by selling your brand to a bigger brand or a bigger entrepreneur. Now, there's a place where you could post your store and get reviews on it, get tips on if your store is too newbie or maybe it's, very good, and you get an honest review and honest opinion from other people in the group that have also been working on their stores. Now, there are other chats that are called intermediate chats, which are people who are a little further down the line, which are paid traffic, which obviously here is where I've been interacting a decent amount, because this is where people talk about their ads platforms, and some things they've been going through, some things that they've been testing. They have an organic traffic, which is another huge element to e-commerce. I typically don't talk about a lot because most beginners, it is hard for you to get organic traffic. However, it is applicable to TikTok. It is applicable to SEO on Google. So it is something that you want to keep in mind, something that you want to keep in the back burner for when you are ready, when you find a product that really hits hard, you want to be able to move into the organic section to make sales for free. You don't always want to rely on paid traffic, because during the cloudy or cold months, there are moments where you are going to wish you had organic SEO traffic bringing in sales. There's an operations channel, which is just a generic operations, things like talking about AliExpress and different other platforms that you could use for shipping or products or things like that. And then of course there is advanced chat, which you have to apply to if you've done over 6 figures, or excuse me, it's actually 5 figures. To get into this advanced chat, you need over $10,000 in your e-commerce business in sales, which again, guys, is not that hard to do, but as a beginner, you might not be able to achieve that in your first couple months. And then of course is the advanced chat, where these people can communicate, talk about, which I always write in the chat, because a lot of this program is based around Facebook and or TikTok ads. I am specialized in Google ads, so I did like the tips on Facebook ads. However, I'm always writing in this chat, people have to take their winning products and post them on Google, because I'm telling them there's so much more room for these products to grow, especially in a marketplace that has over 2 billion people worldwide, which is going to be the Google marketplace. Now, the e-commerce campus involves a lot of programs. They have the frequently asked questions, the full e-commerce course on branding, the full e-commerce course on setup, the paid traffic setup, which is primarily involving Facebook, the organic traffic setup, advanced ecom guides, which just shows you some advanced things about payment processing, business registration, customer service templates, hiring employees, agency accounts, which are very important. If you get banned on Facebook and you have a winning product, you immediately want to move and you want to make back that revenue that you could be losing if you did lose your ad account. There are professor lessons with the professor, which I can respect this professor. I think he does know what he's talking about for the most part. There are professor reviews, which are just reviews on certain products that he's reviewing. And then there's some feedback that you can leave if you have complaints, or maybe you enjoyed the program. You can leave a progress form or a bug issue that you see in the program. Now, of course, the store setup is probably going to be the most important thing for this guide. I envision that this program was made for the most basic beginner, and then somewhere in between intermediate and beginner level, because at the end of the day, a beginner really needs to know how to get started. How should he set up his store? And this really has a beginner's guide on how to make your logo, how to buy your domain, how to create a professional email, which are all very important things for the actual program. It also talks about your pixel setup. It talks about your recommended apps that you need, which are also very important things. The paid traffic is just a few videos on some Facebook ad strategy, some Facebook ad setup, how to uncover some Facebook ad metrics. Again, there is some lessons on TikTok ad strategy as well, and then ad analysis, how to analyze some of your data. But again, I can't imagine that it's going to be so applicable to an individual person, because everybody's metrics are different, everybody's products are different, everybody's competition is different around these products. So it's something to keep in mind that not everything is going to be completely tailored to each person, right? Every business is different, every dropshipping store is different, every e-commerce store is going to be different. So you have to keep these things in mind. Take every piece of advice with a grain of salt. Now, in the e-commerce advanced courses, I think is probably where the intermediate guides are going to be aligned, right? Let's say you do start making $10,000, or maybe you did 20, 30, 40, 50. Now it's time to outsource some of that work that you're having, some of that customer service. It's time to learn about more payment processors you can use just in case something goes wrong and things like this. So I think this is a pretty good guide for the most part for beginners. I think this is literally the perfect thing for beginners, because for $50 a month, you can't really go wrong, especially if you're outside of the US and it's harder to buy programs of people that are charging more expensive things. I think think for a beginner just to get started, you can't go wrong with only spending $600 a year. That's how much it costs. Again, the other programs are also included in this $50. Now, I'm the type of person that needs to focus on one thing. I love to hone in on one specific thing until I completely master it or give up on it, right? Let's say I worked on it for 3 to 6 months and I think, you know what, this is not for me anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I give up. However, when I really want to sink my teeth into something, when I really know that I can make money from something, I need the best and the most advanced program ever. Now, this is perfect for you to get started for $50. I think any beginner should get started in general with free content on YouTube, or if you genuinely just want a community, want people to help answer questions for you that you have, then a $50 start is not a bad time, especially because it also starts with other programs that can help you get disciplined and find a community to build around. Now, I genuinely do think that getting distracted and putting yourself in front of other things that could distract you from your main mission, which is just to make money, which is to pick one thing and to make money, specifically with e-commerce, then maybe you should avoid these other sections. However, if you are not a beginner, then there's no need for this because you could get all this content for free if you haven't already on YouTube, and you can find it pretty easily, right? It's not that hard to find how to build Shopify store guides, how to run Facebook ad guides. The real difficulty is finding a mentor or finding the most direct route to making money. Now, in my case, for an expert or somebody who's a little past intermediate, who really wants to hone in on their marketing skills, who really wants to take their business to the next level, this might not be for you, right? There's way too many beginners. There's way too much moving parts. There's way too many communities. You're gonna get your head spun around a million times. That is why I personally love one-on-one mentorship, because I can mold the perfect student to just make money in their own business. They have a couple questions or they have a couple roadblocks that they've had. We can tackle them head on and answer them immediately. If there was a gigantic group with 1,000 people talking about their problems individually at one person, that one person is gonna have a very hard time answering 1,000 questions, especially if all 1,000 students had 10 questions, 20 questions, 30 questions. That makes it infinitely harder. Now, that is where community balance is perfect because they help each other out. The ones that joined earlier can answer questions that they had that they've already been answered for the beginners. However, if you're an intermediate level, or if you're ready to just elevate and go way past the store building phase, way past the generic Facebook ads place, you're genuinely going to need a mentor or a more expensive program. But this is not who this is for. This is for complete beginners, which I agree this is a perfect place to start. And I've had friends in the past have no experience whatsoever, but I would typically at this point recommend something like this if they cannot find a place to find all the information for free on YouTube in one place. Then I would recommend to them, just go find a program like this that only costs you $50 a month, and at least you have a place to start. Now, I think Andrew and all the other people in the war room and in the real world did an excellent job putting together at least a competent team, a competent group of people, coaches that know what they're talking about, at least for the beginning levels of business, right? Especially if you're outside of the US and you don't have a lot to be dropping on mentors or programs, this is a perfect place to start because you have boatloads of information in plenty of industries to make money, especially the fact that you could only have to make $60 to make back your money. This is a great place to start. Kudos to Andrew. I'll be in here maybe here and there answering some questions for people. They don't really know who I am. I don't have a profile picture, but I am Professor X e-commerce in the group. I've answered a bunch of questions at this point. I probably won't be in it for long, however, because I am so ready to grow and join our own community and build big ecom. Please check out our free Discord in the bio right now because I'm only letting in the first 100 people for free. That is it. I want this to be tailored around people who know what they're talking about, who are seriously committed to learning the ins and outs of all the ads platforms, but specifically Google Ads, the ins and outs of building brands and e-commerce stores. I want to build a tight-knit community of killers, and if you think that that's for you, please join right now. The free Discord in the bio. Again, only the first 100 people are joining for free. We're gonna be doing live Q&As and webinars all the time. Join. It's not as big as Andrew Tate's, of course. It doesn't have hundreds of thousands of people in it, but that's what makes it, in my opinion, better because you won't have your head spun around. It's easier to answer your questions. So if you think that is for you, join the Discord. And of course, in the Discord, we'll be answering questions about high ticket e-commerce, the business that I have done over $12 million in sales in. We're gonna be talking about low ticket e-commerce, which I have been seriously dabbling into in the last year, have done over $1 million just alone with other e-commerce brands. Also gonna be talking about agencies and how to run Google ads for other brands. This way you don't have to do all the hard work yourself, thanks to your expertise in the field of Google ads to run ads for other brands that need help. And these are all topics we're gonna be covering in Build Big Ecom. So check out the Discord in the bio. And until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn on post notifications, because the next video I drop is going to be an A to Z guide for free on how to get started with a new TikTok dropshipping strategy with Google ads that nobody is talking about on YouTube. I have not seen a single person really talking about the things that I've been talking about, so you do not want to miss this. And of course, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed. Until then, Professor X is out.